Okay, so today's lesson is on the order of sharps and flats. In our standard music that goes back well over 300 years, we have a set of sharps and a set of flats that always comes in the same order. If you see a piece of music and it looks like this, those three flats always come in the same order, but they go all the way up to 7 sharps or 7 flats. Why? Because there's 7 notes in the musical alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if you got 7 notes, you could theoretically sharp each one of them and you could flat each one of them. So it's good for you as a musician to memorize that order because you're going to need it as you continue your studies. Okay. The order of sharps looks like this. And let me show you the pattern. If I'm on F sharp, I go down 4 notes, I get to C sharp, or a fourth. Then I go up 5 notes and it's G sharp. Down 4 it's D sharp, down 4 it's A sharp, up 5 it's E sharp, down 4 it's B sharp. So the order of the sharps and flats, which you can now write in your worksheet, is F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, and B sharp. Those are the 7 notes and they always come in this order. If there is only 1 sharp on the music, it's going to be F sharp. If there are only 2 sharps on the music, it's going to be F sharp and C sharp, etc. Don't draw this picture yet. Now, to show you what the order of flats look like. The order of flats follow the same kind of pattern. Starts on B flat, goes up to 4th, which is E flat, goes up to 4th, then it goes down a 5th, which is A flat. Up a 4th, D flat, down a 5th, G flat. Up a 4th, C flat, down a 4th, down a 5th, F flat. And this pattern of 4th, 5th, 4th, 5th, 4th, 5th is what we want to remember. So, the order of flats will always be like so. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, and F flat. Now, someone be the person to recognize the pattern between the two of these. Does anybody see it? It's backwards, isn't it? The order of sharps starts with F, the order of flats ends with F. The order of sharps goes next to C sharp, the order of flats goes then to C flat. And so these are backwards order. If you memorize one, you've memorized the other one. How do people like to memorize it? They like to make up funny little sayings, such as fat cows graze during what? August. Every something. So make up whatever you want, but you want to memorize F, C, G, D, A, E, B, and then you'll have it backwards, okay? We're also going to see this on the next lesson, which is the circle of fifths, and we'll talk about how that works. Now, if you're a bass clef player, draw these in bass clef. If you're a treble clef player, draw these in treble clef. If you're better at one or the other, you can choose which one to write. If you want to write both, then squeeze them in. But here we go. I'm going to write it first in treble clef, and you can copy it now. F sharp is first. And in printed music, it always looks the same way. So it's important that you memorize it as you see it here and as we are writing it down. And while we're on the subject of writing it down, make sure that your sharps or your flats are exactly on the line or space where they belong. So if it's this, the square body of that sharp is on the line. So I know that that's a line sharp. If it's here, the square of the body is right on the 3rd space from the bottom, and all the rest hangs over around it. We want to make sure that it looks exactly like that. don't go drawing this and thinking that's an F sharp, because it's not. That's a G sharp. That's higher. So be very precise on how you draw these. Now, these move from the left to the right. So the next one is going to be down a fourth, which is C sharp. Now, here's an interesting little aside. I'm starting on F. If I go down a fourth, I get to a C. But if I go up a fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I also get a C. So an important concept to know is that fourths and fifths are basically the same interval, they're just turned upside down, what we call inversions. So I can invert C to F, which is a fourth, and when I invert it, it becomes a fifth. It's the same thing, it's the same interval. So if I went up from here to this F up into the ledger lines, I'd have a high C, and I'd put the C sharp there. But we don't see it like that in printed music, we see it there. Okay, moving on. The next one is up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes to G sharp, sitting above the last line at the bottom. Then I come down 4, and I get D sharp. If I would go up 4, I'd be way up in the ledger lines. Now the pattern is down 4, up 5. Down 4, you think we should go up 5, but if we go up 5, we end up in ledger lines. We don't want to have to read ledger lines on our order of sharps and flats, so instead of going up to D, let's go down, up to A, let's go down to A. And we put it there instead. So now I went fourth down, fifth up, fourth down, fourth down. Now I could go up again because I've got room. So I go up a fifth, I get to E sharp, and I go down a fourth, and I end up on the center line, which is B sharp. So all of these orders of sharps and flats are 4 and 5 notes apart, depending on which note you start on. The order, now I'm going to draw that in bass clef in case you would rather learn it from bass clef. Here it is, starts on F sharp, which is now the 4th line from the bottom instead of the top. And I follow the exact same pattern. There it is. So the order of sharps and flats looks the same in treble and bass clef, it's just that they start in a different place. Okay, the order of flats starts on B flat. It goes up a fourth to E flat. Then it comes down a fifth to A flat. Up a fourth, D flat. And would you notice that the fat little body of my flat is sitting on the line or space to which I'm calling it. It's either a B or an E or an A or a D, but you want to make sure it's exactly centered on the line or space. I go down a fifth and I get to G flat. I go up a fourth, I get to C flat, and down a fifth to F flat. Now when we learned the chromatic scale, we said there's no such thing as C flat or F flat, but I told you we'd work on those later, and now is the time. If I want to draw them in the bass clef, because you like bass clef better, I start with this B flat down below, and I go up to E flat, down to A flat, up to D flat, down to G flat, we're almost running out of room, C flat, F flat's right below the staff, so we don't have to make any adjustments. Some students will know the order, but they won't know what the picture looks like. And so they'll do something like this, which would be incorrect as far as how we print music today. So it should be down there. I want you to memorize that picture, know what that picture looks like. Now, in earlier times, let's say you see an old manuscript written by Bach himself, and you're looking at his handwriting, which you can find online very easily. If Bach is writing in, say, the key of B flat, you might see this in his manuscript. What is he showing? He's showing that all B's are flat, all E's are flat, and since there's an E down here, I'll put a flat there too, just to tell you all E's and B's are flat for the entire piece. Nowadays, we don't need that. We don't use it. It's been standardized to look like this, but this means that that is E flat, and so is that. Everywhere in the piece. We just have to write it once. Okay? And that's the order of sharps and flats. Thank you very much.